Welcome everybody to episode 22 of the Canuckleheads podcast. Shout out to Daniel Sedin. I kind of mumbled my words there. My name's Justin. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Wes, and we have some hockey games to discuss. We're going to include the Leafs game in this one. We had to kind of push our recording again. Usually we do it Saturdays, but life happens. This isn't our main job, so we'll go over the first game against the New York Rangers, February 27th, 2022. Thatcher Demko and Georgiev start for the Rangers. Chason's back in because of the injury to Jason Dickinson, which still no update on Dickinson
which
yet.
Is weird.
A little bit, yeah. Like you figured they'd tell us something, but
yeah,
wasn't on the road trip, so not playing the next 4 games. This game, we had... Oh, let's talk about two. So New York played back-to-backs, so we didn't get to see the Demko-Shesterkin matchup.
Yeah.
Which works out for us.
Yeah, honestly.
Anytime you get a backup goalie, like, sometimes that can affect your mentality too, right? Like, oh, easy night, like... the backup they played last night.
Yep.
But this is a good Rangers squad, and there's some they're like the Canucks of the East, right? Like the formula for a Canucks win is get outshot, let Demko keep you in the game, score a couple goals.
Yeah. That's
kind of the same thing as the Rangers that I've kind of learned recently and from watching this game too. Like they rely a lot on Shesterkin.
Yeah.
And when you have a backup goalie that's not a Vezina caliber, you kind of get yourself in trouble a little bit. So.
Yeah, they're almost kind of like the Leafs in the aspect where they want to trade chance for chance because they have so much firepower on the offense. They just think our chances we're going to bury and you're not going to bury yours. They kind of just bet on their scorers. So
in this game, we had a goal from Tanner Pearson on a good play to keep the puck in at the blue line and get it down low to Miller, who passed it back to Pearson in the slot and in the back of the net. I got everything on my phone again, so please ignore just me looking at my phone. I'm not just reading texts. Then we had another goal, a slump buster from Tyler Myers.
Finally.
Snipe top corner after a good pass from Miller. This was after a couple huge saves from Demko, which, again, the Canucks formula to win a hockey game is Thatcher Demko in God mode, and then you get a couple goals here. And again, in my notes, I just have Demko was great in the first, and he towards the end of this game, he had 5 grade A stops against Chris Kreider alone, let alone the rest of the Rangers. Yeah,
his highlight reel is just from this season is just stupid.
Insane. So this was 2-0 Vancouver after the first. Then in the second, we had a goal from Lamico. The model line strikes. Just a good tip over the glove off a Luke Shen point shot, which has been a trend from the Canucks the last couple games, and especially this episode you'll hear a lot of off a insert defenseman point shot. Mm-hmm. I think this is a major emphasis of Boudreau is get the puck on the net, and get in front of the net, screen the goalie, get deflections.
Which is kind of funny because now we're kind of reverting back to the Travis Green style of play, where it's let the defenseman rip shots, just try and tip pucks, and
it's been working.
Yeah, but it seemed like when it was forced, it wasn't working that well.
Yeah.
But now that it's it's not so much of an emphasis. It's just put pucks on net. Doesn't matter if it's from the forwards or from the defense.
Yeah.
And it seems to be working now. So
yeah. So then later in the second, we had a goal from Matthew Highmore on the power play. So this was towards the end of a power play. The first unit was out for the majority of it. Yeah. It was set to expire, so Boudreau throws out the model line and pucks in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Off an OEL point shot.
Which is so awesome, man. I love how Bruce just has so much confidence in the model line. Just to get after it, man.
Yeah. So this was 4-0 after 2 for Vancouver. In the third, the Rangers scored a couple goals halfway through the third, pretty late in the game.
Yeah.
And they scored them pretty close together, within 4 or 5 minutes, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And Boudreau called a timeout, which I really like because it not completely, but it helps just kill the Rangers' momentum.
Yeah.
You know that from the past few games here and there when the Canucks lose, it's a lot quick that they let in.
Yeah.
So this was kind of
take a breath.
Yeah, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
We're going to finish out the game here.
Yeah. Which he's not a big timeout guy.
No, not really.
So it's when he has a timeout, it's meaningful.
Yeah. Then we had an empty netter from Petey on an assist by Thatcher Demko. So just Demko doing everything.
Yeah.
The Canucks win this one 5-2. I have my actual score predictions written down in my notes here. I said a 5-3 win. You said 4-3 in overtime. So
Pretty
we'll
cool.
split the difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, big win for the Canucks there. Next, we were in New Jersey, February 28th, 2022. And this is a game that we don't want to talk about.
No.
This was Halak versus and Dawes for the Devils starting. This was 3-0 New Jersey after the first. The Canucks couldn't really find their legs. Halak wasn't great. I would say two of these goals weren't really his fault. It was a 2-on-1 with Jack Hughes.
Jack was buzzing.
Jack had a good game.
Yeah.
This was a big eye opener because we don't really watch a ton of Devils games, kind of only when they play the Canucks. And from looking at his stats last year, had a bit of a disappointing rookie season.
Yeah, and then 20 games off this season with an injury.
Yeah,
so.
But he looked fast. He was in control of the puck.
Driving play.
Gonna be a good player in this league,
Yeah.
or already is.
In my opinion, he just needs a trade off of that team, and he'll be a superstar. He already is, but I mean, if he wants to win a Stanley Cup, it isn't with the New Jersey Devils. I'm sorry.
Well, just let's see what they build here.
I don't think so.
You're kind of writing this team off before they even get
I
going.
am. I don't have zero confidence in them.
Wes with no faith in the Devils. So in the second period here, we had a goal from Vasily Podkolzin on a double deflection. Bo tipped it, then Pods tipped it off a Hamonic point shot. So the Canucks scored early in this, about a minute and a half in. And then we just had just an awful goal from Halak. And this one really killed the momentum. You could tell after they scored that first goal, the Canucks, I didn't feel like they were out of it. And I don't think they did either. They were like, okay, we'll start rolling now. Then they give up a kind of breakaway to a defenseman, just kind of moves around Quinn Hughes, takes the puck outside and in. Hughes did a good job angling him. Halak was just so deep in his net that by the time the puck hit him,
He had no chance.
It crossed the goal line.
Yeah.
By the time he quote unquote saved it, it was in the net. I don't know if he just lost.
He got too deep in.
Yeah, lost his position in the net, lost his post. But this was the goal that really killed the Canucks in this one. This was a bad goal on Halak that just killed any momentum they had built up after the quick Podkolzin goal.
Yeah.
So I don't like blaming the goalie because it's easy, right?
Yeah.
But
definitely.
this to me was a bad goal that pretty easily stoppable.
If he was in the right position, he could have stopped.
Yeah, just that Ian Clark is such a good goaltending coach, and he's not being like, hey man, what you want to do is be inside your net when the puck gets you. He wants you to be out and aggressive like Demko is and Halak normally is. This was just I think Halak was just shaken from his last start too, where he gave up a lot. So
yeah, he's had a tough go in his last 3 starts, and I don't think the confidence is really there right now, and I can't really blame him, honestly.
Yeah, and then there was another New Jersey goal devil that went in off Shen and went in the net, and after that happened, Halak was looking at the bench, so
he was ready to get pulled.
Yeah, which I understand because he knows he's I'm having a shit game, but at the same time you gotta at the very least give Demko a break.
Yeah.
You know what? He gives up another goal, gets pulled after giving up 6 goals on 14 shots. But Demko just played the night before, and I'm okay with playing him back to back and things like that. But if you're gonna give him a night off, give him a night off. This is Halak's last 2 starts. He's been pulled halfway through the game for Demko to go in, and the way the Canucks play, Demko's gonna get peppered. So just kind of unfortunate there. We had a goal from Tanner Pearson off a one-timer in the slot on a good pass from Hunt and Miller. This was 6-2 Jersey after 2, 7-2 at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. So just a very forgettable game.
Yeah, I don't think the Canucks had their legs whatsoever.
No.
Halak didn't have his best game either. It just was
bad combination.
Yeah, terrible performance.
I said the Canucks were going to win 4-3. Wes said they were going to win 3-1. We were way off.
Yeah, and it's funny too because apparently the Hughes brothers had a little wager on the line that whoever lost the game would buy a painting for the house, and apparently
Quinn
went out of his
money.
Yeah, he came out of his pockets on that one. So
yeah.
It is what it is. Big bro had to go get the painting. All good.
And so after this and kind of this recent week, there's been a lot of news on the trade talks from the Canucks, and they're kind of saying that Halak is willing to go now, which kind of makes sense, right?
He's the Nate Schmidt of the goaltending situation. He got brought on this team. It didn't work out. We'll ship you out just as fast as we shipped you in.
Well, he was good at most every other game.
His last 3 starts have been horrendous.
Yes, and like we said, at the very least, give Demko a night off.
Which, granted, all 3 of his last starts have been back-to-backs where the team doesn't really play that good. It's a tough spot to be in for a goalie, but at the same time, you have to give your team confidence by playing better behind them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you play like shit, then the game's gonna be shit. If you pull like a Demko performance and start making crazy saves, sliding post to post, maybe the boys, it'll fire them up, and start playing better in front of you. But when you just let in shot after shot after shot.
Yeah, but kind of at this point, I think the feeling on both sides is like, it's not working. Like,
yeah.
We got to remember too, like, he has a no movement clause, which means you can't even send him down to the AHL, right?
Nope.
There's no play a couple games in the A, get your confidence back and come back. It's like he's got to move on to, and I don't think he'll waive to go to the AHL because he's definitely an NHL caliber goaltender. Just
not working out.
Yeah, just things are off right now, and I feel like it's best for everybody to go separate ways on this. So
yeah.
If you can get whatever you can get for him, just kind of ship him out at this point.
Yeah, 100%. And it frustrates me too because going way back to last seson, Deming, I thought he was unreal, man.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, 100%. And we got Spencer Martin now. Why? We don't even need Halak at this point. If we got Spencer Martin repping in our back-to-backs, I'm pumped.
At the same time, though, we didn't know about Spencer Martin.
Spencer Martin showed up, yeah.
So it's hard to go back and criticize anybody for that off-season signing.
Yeah.
And you could move Halak. It does suck because I think he has killed his value a little bit with his last
100%
performances.
Yeah.
But really, at this point, just get him out of the crease.
Yeah.
I'm all right with bringing in Spencer Martin.
100%.
Let Mikey DiPietro run the show in the AHL.
Yep.
Let him develop because he's missed out on a lot of development time with COVID and everything.
Yep.
It's just right now we have one too many cooks in the goaltending kitchen here.
I agree.
Okay, so moving on to the next game. We were in New York again. 3 games in New York there. This was March 3rd, 2022. Demko and Varlamov start in this one. Boudreaux was shuffling up the lineups a little bit here. We had Garland, Petey, and I almost said Hodkolzen. Hoglander on the line. Pierce back with Besser and Miller. And then Pods with Bo and Chason. And then, of course, you got the model line because you can't break up the model line. 0-0 after 1 by the Canucks. 0-0 after 1 for the Canucks. They played pretty decent in the first year after that big loss against New Jersey. So you just wanted to see them come out and have, show some effort, show that they had their legs under them, not get, buried instantly. So in the second, we had a goal by Brad Hunt with his first of the year, and first as a Canuck with a clapper from the circle. Nice to see because he's a local Lower Mainland Vancouver boy, so
yep, scoring a goal at home.
Yeah, for his team that he grew up watching as a kid. So
yep.
And you could tell he was excited too. Obviously you're always happy to score, but this was a little extra special for him.
Oh, 100% in front of friends and family. He spoke after the game and just said how much it meant to him. And man, he works hard every time he's in the lineup. I loved seeing him get a goal.
Yeah, he's been pretty 50-50 for me, just because he's not really
He's not a full-time guy.
Yeah, or a long-term piece, right?
Yeah. But knows how to play in the NHL.
Has been, pretty good for when he's had to step in. Put up, more points than I thought he would. He hasn't been bad in the offensive part of the game.
And honestly, he never gets caught, super out of position.
Yeah.
He's pretty positionally aware and, definitely an NHL quality defenseman. It's just, I understand why he's not always in the line.
Yeah, and also not really...
Older guy.
32, 33, somewhere in there. He's not a long-term Canuck kind of thing. Yeah. He's just a depth piece that's been playing a lot because we got some injuries. But good to see. Yep. I'm not mad at him scoring a goal for us.
Nope.
Then we had a goal from JT Miller on a deflection from a Brock Besser point shot. Smart plays by everyone on this one. Best to cover the point for Hughes, I believe, who was pinching in. And then just a good tip from Miller. Went past Varlamov. So This was 2-2 after 2. Then into the third, we had another slump buster from Niels Hoglander, who directs it in off a great pass from Connor Garland, who, like, this was a hard pass. Like, I think Garland was shooting at his stick.
Yeah, and Hogs had to bring it back a little bit in order just to catch it and just direct it. It didn't even get that much wood on it. Just knocked it right in. It was perfect.
And this comes after a lot of good shifts from this line. Like, I believe the shift before, Garland was everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, cutting laps on the ice and just in total control. So, and Hogs needed this. Like, again, like Wes said, like, it was kind of like, he didn't get a lot on it, but it went in the net, and it was his goal. Yeah. And, like, hopefully it's just a confidence booster for him, because he's been playing good. He just hasn't been getting rewarded at all. Yeah. So, nice to see him finally score one. And then, very shortly later, we had a goal from Vasily Podkolzin.
Which, it's funny, because Justin said in the last episode, I want to see both of these guys get rewarded. Yeah. Boom, they both get goals.
Very quickly, too. Yeah. This was on a good pass from Bo after he kind of made a good play to keep the puck. Got hit with it, basically, but still kept it in the zone and pass over to Podkolzin in the back of the net. 4-3 win for the Canucks in this one. Wes said 4-2. I said 3-2. Again, kind of around the score, but
we're close.
We are close. And this was a good game for the Canucks because they let up in the first goal, but they battled back. Yep. And, like, that's
played solid.
That seems to be a hard thing for them to do. Like, when they get down, it's usually they get buried.
It's a snowball effect.
Yeah. So it was good for them to battle back from this one, and, like, I think they came back twice. Actually, I think they were down 1-0, then 2-1. So good effort from the boys, and, like, no Barzal, no Chara, but you should win this one, right? 100%. Like they did. So then the game that we are going to include here, having Saturday night, Vancouver at Toronto, March 5th, 2022. Hockey night in Canada.
What a great game this was.
Nothing like a Hockey night in Canada game. Yeah. Demko and Campbell starting in this one. So, battle of the American Olympic potential goaltenders, when that was a thing. Wayne Simmons playing his 1,000th game for the Leaf tonight. So, congrats, Wayne. First time in a long time I remember a player playing a games milestone in the Canucks. I don't know who the last one would have been, but just a good,
not a big one like that anyway.
Yeah, a good
like 200 games and stuff like that. Not
minor like that. Yeah, 1,000 games is a big deal.
100%.
And like he's earned it. Like, Wayne Simmons plays a tough physical brand of hockey. So
tough SOB.
Yeah, congratulations. In this one we had a goal from JT Miller, who just keeps scoring and putting up points. Yep. Off a rebound from a Travis Hamonic point shot. And man, did Travis Hamonic have an interesting first in this one, which we'll continue on here. But JT Miller has just been insane.
Yep.
Like,
9-game point streak. The guy's just unreal. He's everywhere. Whether it's assists or goals, he's just always contributing. Exactly. And then Best gets down on himself. Who picks him up? JT Miller. We'll get to that.
So as I mentioned, another interesting play by Travis Hamonic here. We had a Vancouver penalty kill. Hamonic tries to pinch, like, almost like between the red line and the blue line. Yeah, like, and just gets burned by...
Left Myers all alone.
Yeah. So John Tavares just skates right past him, and it's a 3-on-1. Yeah. And, Tavares ends up scoring, and you just, like...
If they wanted to, they could have played tic-tac-toe all over us. Yeah. And they didn't, which I was happy about, but he chips it up to Tavares, and it was a pretty simple goal. But Myers had no chance to defend.
Yeah, just a what are you doing moment for Hamonic there. Like, you're on a penalty kill. Like, don't... Yeah, I get you're trying to get the puck deep, but at that point, just cut your loss, defend, get reset up, and try and get the puck down.
He had that Tucker Pullman mentality there. Yeah, he was trying to pinch up and be in the play when really your job is to defend.
Yeah. So speaking of Travis Hamonic, we had a goal from Travis Hamonic.
As we rip him, bring him up.
Just a shot from kind of the top of the circle, just off a screen from Chason, finds its way in the back of the net.
Which he's been finding some points as of late. Kind of interesting, yeah.
Yeah, he has. And been very up and down. Had a bad turnover against the Islanders there, I believe it was. Yep. So yeah, like, very
offensive on the offensive side of the ice, but not so great defensively.
Travis Hamonick's season has basically been the same as the Canucks, where it's just peaks and valleys, right? You're either up here or you're way down here. So just got to find some consistency, but hasn't played a lot.
No,
so.
He hasn't.
Yeah, and this goal, too, was a result of Vasily Podkolzin taking the puck off Austin Matthews.
Yes,
so
it was.
Definitely got to praise Pods for that because...
He works hard every shift.
Yeah, we've seen Austin Matthews twice this year, and man, this guy is good. Like,
he'll score from anywhere.
Yeah, I know people are probably not wanting to really hear any Leafs talk because the Leafs get covered a lot, but Austin Matthews is more than just a goal scorer.
Yep. Tried the Michigan in this game.
Did try and was very close.
This close. Yeah. And veteran move from frickin' Thatcher Demko. He's like, I'm not on your highlight reel. Hits his net off the...
Well,
that was damn near a penalty.
He was pushing off the net. I don't think he did that. He was trying to get up to save it. I don't think
Who knows? Veteran move, though, either way.
So, yeah, just like Austin Matthews is not just a goal scorer. Like, this guy controls play all over the ice. And is just... much smarter of a player than I thought he was. Like, definitely to me, he's a top 5 player in this league. Like,
and when his line is on the ice, they're in the offensive zone for their squad. Like 90% of the time, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So this was 2-1 Vancouver after 2. In the second here, this was a big Leafs period. We had a goal from Besser.
Yeah.
Just a good puck battle in front of the net. Like, knocked it out of the air to hit it past Campbell. But this was 4-3 Toronto after the second. And speaking of Besser, like, had a very bad turnover right to the aforementioned Austin Matthews, who put it right in the net. Like, Demko wasn't set. Nobody on the ice was expecting that to happen, but
should have just slapped a Leafs jersey on him for that shift because that was just an egregious turnover right out front to the best goal scorer in the National Hockey League. And what does he do? He pots it.
Yeah, and you could tell Besser was genuinely upset by this. He was head down on the bench. Miller was like patting him on the back, telling him like it's all right, like we'll get one, still have time, kind of thing. But so then in the third, we had a goal from Tanner Pearson, tips the puck in off Tyler Myers' point shot. Good pass from Bess to Myers. So again, Bess making up for it,
and scored a goal earlier.
Yeah, so and this was quick into the third. This was like just over a minute in to tie it up.
He had a good game. It's just. Literally, he had Quinn in the corner just behind the net from him. Instead of throwing it out front, like, why would you do that? Throw it around the boards. Like,
yeah, we should admit, he was pressured by a Toronto player, but you don't have to throw it right up the middle. Like, you can tie it up or something like that, you know.
Throwing it up the middle should be your last resort, and it wasn't his last resort. He had time to get it to Quinn, and he just made an error.
Then we had a goal from Alex Chason after a good play from Bo to keep possession in the Toronto zone. Tyler Myers had a good breakup on a stretch pass from the Leafs, threw it up to Podkolzin to Bo, and then Chason just kind of cleans it up.
Mizey's been playing good too lately.
He's been better, After scoring that goal, you can tell he's really trying to push for more offense, which is nice. So that was to take the lead. The last 5 minutes of this game was all Toronto.
Yeah, they're making a push to tie it up.
Yeah, and there was a great diving play from Tanner Pearson to knock the puck away from Austin Matthews, which probably saved a goal. Like, that was a really
Anytime
good...
the puck's on his stick, boy.
Yeah. That was just a really good play by Pearson, like, going all in, right? Like, diving to knock the puck away from him.
Yep.
Which, then we had a empty netter from Tyler Mott. A good effort by Petey to chase down the puck.
Yeah.
And this last 5 minutes of this game was all Thatcher Demko.
Yeah.
Like, just... save after save after save, and he was exhausted.
He's the reason we won the game.
Absolutely. Like, they showed just a picture of him after the Canucks kind of cleared the zone, but Toronto came right back. Like,
he's hunched over.
Like sweating, like he was gassed, but battled through it, and the Canucks take this one 6-4.
Yeah.
We don't have score predictions for this one because we weren't expecting to cover this one until next episode, but that's just kind of how it goes sometimes.
No one would have predicted that score anyway. It was a high-scoring game, back and forth. Just a great hockey game to watch.
Yeah, that, for a Canucks fan, like, that was big too, right? Because if you lose that one, you're 2-2 on the road trip.
Yep, this puts us above Anaheim with the same amount of games in hand.
Yeah, and, like, 3-1 on the road trip is pretty good. And against a tough Toronto team, like...
Yep. We're nipping at the heels of the Edmonton Oilers, and now we're putting the pressure on them. Like, you need to win your next 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
Because we're coming.
Yeah, and it just gets more and more interesting for the Canucks to go here.
Just superstition talk again. We haven't had it in a while. I'm not even saying the P word.
Oh yeah, no,
Not even saying it.
We're just gonna see what happens.
Don't.
I think we talked about it last episode. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have any expectations anymore because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yep, I'm not even saying the word. I don't even want to indulge in it whatsoever. And let's see how it goes.
Yeah. So yeah, a successful road trip from the Canucks. They get 3 days off, which they need after that Leafs game, especially Demko.
Yep.
I know they're off today. They announced that on Twitter, so boys can just go home. Demko can have a nice, relaxing
Get some rest.
Sunday.
Yeah, and then it's a homestand.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about making 70 saves against the top sniper in the league. So a well-deserved day off for Thatcher Demko.
100%.
Okay, so that'll do it for the games this week. There's a couple things I wanted to talk to you about. I just wanted to talk about the model line, the fourth line, just taking advantage of every opportunity they get. Like, Boudreau throws them out there on the power play as it's like the last couple of seconds, not expecting them to score, right? Just like,
and what do?
Yeah, like he's just throwing them out there to have a good shift and try and like
put some pressure, fast skating,
and then it's in the back of the net. Like Matthew Highmore scores.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. They're our fastest line as well.
Yes.
So it definitely creates a different dynamic when they're coming at you with that much speed. And then they're throwing pucks on net from crazy angles and just making it happen, throwing tips because, like, Highmore just getting dirty in front of the net the past couple games, and he's been getting rewarded.
Yeah,
so
being physical, like, making smart plays, not playing outside their skill set. Like, they all just know the kind of players they are, and they just work so well together.
Yeah.
Lamoureux and Highmore already have career highs in points. Like, Mott's on his way.
And it's a confidence builder, too. When Boudreau keeps giving you those opportunities, they're, like, chomping at the bit. Like, we're trying to get more ice time.
Yeah,
like.
And, I don't remember when the last goal went in against them, right? Like,
no,
even
seriously.
Like, it's
been a long time.
They're just such a game changer for the team that lets you, like, not have to worry. Like, you have a set line, your fourth line. There's no, like, you have to shelter them or anything. Boudreau's just throwing them out there. Like, played against the Gaudreau line a lot. Like,
he's putting them against top lines.
Yeah, and it's just, it makes it easier on the coach. And the game against the Leafs, like, they were dominant against the Leafs fourth line because Miller and Tavares kind of went head-to-head, and then Petey and Matthews went head-to-head.
Well, and it's funny because the Leafs announcers talked about this during the game. Like, usually the Leafs don't even really roll their fourth line.
Yeah.
Literally, they're just rolling their best players all night long, and when you play a team that has a solid fourth line, it makes you roll your fourth line.
Where you're going to get, especially towards the end of the game, you're going to have no energy. So.
Yep, and that's the interesting dynamic of this team now, that we have a set fourth line that really puts the pressure on teams. It forces other teams to play all your lines and kind of spreads your top players' ice time a little bit thinner.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just such a like, found money. Like, Lamoureux was a toss-in for that trade. Who we should also mention, Olli Juolevi placed on waivers by the Panthers the other day. So, Canucks won the trade, I think it's fair to say.
100%.
Would also be interesting if we put in a claim for Juolevi. I think that'd be kind of funny. But,
I don't even want him back, honestly.
I think the Canucks kind of know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just found money on that line. Like,
and thanks to Boudreau.
Yep, for just letting them play and letting them roll and doing what they do. Another note I had here, and this was before the Islanders game. There is, I said, Hogs. I have just noted Hogs needs to get going. Maybe a stint in the AHL. After he scored, I don't think that's a thing now, right? Like, he just needed that.
He got the
break.
monkey off his back.
It hasn't been playing bad. I was just thinking, like, send him down there.
Let him
play
up.
first line minutes.
He'll get 5 goals in 3 games.
Let him get some points and just feel good about himself again. And because he's on an entry level deal, so you can do that without waivers. So, and I just had it noted that Phil DiGiuseppe was called up because of the Dickinson injury.
Yep.
And I'd like to see him play. I had it.
He was good, man.
Before the Islanders game again, I had maybe in place of Hogs you play him, but now I just want him instead of Chason. Chason has been, like, decent, like,
he's been getting some points here and there. Yeah.
But he just, like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of his.
Neither am I.
He does this thing a lot where he doesn't reach for pucks. Mm-hmm. He just tries to skate to pucks or let them come to him. Mm-hmm. And it really bothers me. It almost led to a turnover, I think, in the Islanders game.
Yeah.
He's in the Canucks defensive zone and he's, like, skating towards the puck, not reaching out to grab it to get rid of it. And the Islanders, like, pick it off. So just little things like that bother me where it's just, like, he's not putting in as much effort as I think he could.
Yeah, which it is funny that you say that because there's sometimes where I notice Hogs, he's reaching instead of moving his feet. And
Yeah.
that kind of bothers me too. So there's a fine line there between reaching and moving your feet, or just like it's that close to you where you could just reach out and grab it. So just do it.
That's where Chason does it, right? Like he's the only one near the puck. He just won't get it. He'll just wait. And I don't know why it bothers me, but it does. But
no, 100%.
I just feel like DiGiuseppe could be a good...
He works hard, man, and he was great at the start of the season when they're giving him his opportunities. I thought he was going to be a mainstay, honestly.
Likewise, I think the majority of Canucks fans did, and I feel like he would fit with Horvat, because that's where Chason's playing.
Yep.
I feel like that's a big upgrade, putting in DiGiuseppe over Chason, because I think DiGiuseppe can kill penalties also, which is a plus. You're not. Like, you could put him on the power play, but your second unit power play hardly plays anyway.
Like, all we're really doing with Chason is just parking his big ass in front of the net.
Yeah.
Like, and we don't need that. Like, anyone can stand in front of the net.
And like, I don't really feel like he's effective anywhere else except in front of the net.
No,
and like,
neither.
Sorry to knock Chason so much, but like,
no, I'm not high on Chason either.
Yeah.
And he has been getting some points as of late, so it's kind of funny to throw that in there, but I'm just not high on the guy. I think DiGiuseppe is a definite upgrade.
And he's been good in I always want to say Utica. He's been good in Abbotsford. Yeah. So I'd like to see him get his shot. And like, because Chason hasn't been bad or good, but like, let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
Like, he's played in the NHL before. I just feel like him and Horvat would mesh well with
give him his opportunity.
Let's just throw him in there, because it's...
Yeah. I feel like as long as we're winning games, they probably won't.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Once maybe we go on a 2-game skid, maybe they look to mix up the lineup a bit. Maybe we see DiGiuseppe here in the near future.
Yeah, wouldn't be upset about it.
No, me neither.
So again, there's been a lot of kind of news on the trade fronts for the Canucks, who are like gauging interest around the league. Not like,
honestly, I think JT Miller killed all the trade rumors.
Oh, like I'm just gonna, whatever happens, I'm just gonna accept it.
Me too.
I'm not looking into this, but I do have a question for you.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of rumors of Besser being the guy.
Yep.
My question is, if you had to get rid of one, is it Bo, Miller, or Brock? You can keep two. And
that's such a terrible...
It is tough.
It's so hard, but at the same time, it's like... they're all tradable pieces, which is crazy. And just Miller, the way he's driving our team right now, I honestly don't think we're getting the offers that we're looking for JT anyway.
At this point, it's got to be out of this world.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think those are off the table at this point, and they're definitely fine with keeping JT Miller.
Yes.
Brock has been a little shaky.
He's been up and down.
He's had good points in his last few games. Got the performer of the game last game, which I thought was suspect.
Yeah.
Like, that's when I was like, okay, maybe they're trying to trade him. Because maybe they're trying to, you know what I mean? Yeah. Send those vibes out there. Like, oh, he's great. When in reality, he dished Austin Matthews for a freaking goal.
Also had a goal and an assist. So
yeah, just the game before that, when he gave up a puck too, it was very similar. Like, try to pass inside the D zone, got picked off, goes to the goal, tries to dish it out, gets knocked on his ass, goes in the net. It was just, there's been a couple bad plays as of late. I'd say he's probably the most tradable piece, just because everyone knows him in the league as a goal scorer. Yeah. He's my favorite player. I wear his jersey every time. I don't want him to get traded, but honestly, at this point, he looks like the piece that might be the most tradable. I don't think they move Bo.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so. I love Bo. He works super hard.
Yeah. For me, where it gets interesting is because of the last couple weeks, the way Miller's been playing, like, he does really seem like the leader of this team.
100%. I was just saying to Justin before we started the pod, it's so crazy because I feel like if we had waited to put the C on Horvat's jersey and we had came into this season and last season the way we have, maybe JT Miller's wearing that C on his jersey.
Definitely possible.
He drives this team, man, and when Besser's down on the bench, who's there to frickin' pick him up? You know what I mean? JT Miller's a frickin' leader. And I'm okay with him wearing the A. Like, it doesn't always have to be the most vocal guy wearing the C. Yeah. It's just, I don't think Millsy's going anywhere. I think it'd be stupid for us.
Unless you're getting the world back for him.
Literally. Like a freaking star, established NHL player.
Yeah. But I just think it was kind of an interesting, I think, because they all are such different players, right? Yeah. Like, Miller's just super vocal and like
Yeah.
loud in everything he does. Not like vocally, but just like.
And Bo's the polar opposite.
Yeah, Bo's. But except for the way they play it, right? Like
Yeah.
Bo will have like the big bull rushes to the net and things like that. Like loud in the way he plays. I don't think Bo is necessarily the most vocal guy. I think Miller is. I think Miller will has no problem like saying something or like
calling
addressing
people
a
out.
team. Yeah. I think Bo is kind of just a little too nice for that. Maybe,
Yeah.
but
on the ice he's a beast. Off the ice he's a soft-spoken guy.
And then Besser has moments where he's loud on the ice, right?
Yeah.
Like you'll see a great shot or like a smart pass, things like that. But just the finer details of his game get a little lost. Yeah. And it's funny because we were saying how he's a lot better of a two-way player than people. Yeah. And then he's had these bad turnovers recently.
Yeah.
But it's just a stretch. Like Brock's better than that.
100%. I don't think he's playing his best hockey right now. He knows that, and he's still getting rewarded at the same time. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword where it's like he knows his game needs to be better. He made a couple silly mistakes, and he'll correct those 110%.
And then had an assist after that. So like he knows.
Brought the energy back up.
Yeah. It's just an interesting question I wanted to bring up to you.
And it's a tough one because Bess is my favorite player on the team. Everyone knows that. I love the guy.
I feel bad because it's always Besser, right? Yeah. Like it's every year it seems like there's like
so much pressure on him.
Yeah, and like rumors of Besser getting traded.
Like literally, what was it last year, the year before? And JT Miller skates up to him in practice and thought you're getting traded. Yeah. Like it's such a freaking hassle to have that always on your shoulders.
Always like Bess is dealing with that constantly. It seems so, and like he's such a good person that you just. Like, I just want Besser to go out and score 40 goals. I just want him to do that.
Me too.
I think he can. But
and honestly, I'd be more than happy if we didn't make any trades. Like we were saying before in the frickin' hardcore trading episode.
Yeah.
We'll just have to shut up and see what happens, and whatever happens, and we can't be mad about it. And that's a fact. But the way this team's playing now, it's like, let's just ride out the season.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah.
It's funny, too, because Bo and Byram's name has come. Been mentioned a lot too in a Miller trade, and I said that a couple episodes ago.
But now it's like
listen to us.
Yeah,
we know what we're talking about. Yeah, even though we don't want to trade Miller.
No, 100%.
And it's funny too because both sides are pretty divided on it, right? Avs fans are like, we're not trading a franchise blue liner for JT Miller, and then Canucks fans are like, he got concussion issues. We're gonna trade JT Miller for him. It's just right. You get attached to your players.
100%. There's homers on both sides.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I think it makes sense for the Avalanche to do it is because they have such a good team. They got a good blue line. Byram's been hurt for most of the year.
Yeah. Bo was one of the people who put him out for a little bit.
Yeah. And if they trade for his JT Miller, right, because they're probably losing Kadri next year because he's might get an insane contract with the season he's having.
He's unreal.
Then you have Miller for 2 years tied up too. So it's smart for the Avalanche. Works for the Canucks. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just saying I see why it works for both teams there.
Yeah.
I think that kind of is everything I really wanted to talk about outside of the games this week, unless there's anything you wanted to mention.
I think we covered that stuff.
All right. Okay, so after news and everything, let's go over our score predictions for next week here. Won't have one for Toronto because we covered that in this game, as we mentioned. We don't play till Wednesday night. Montreal in the house. 9:30 puck drop our time again.
So I got a score prediction for this one.
Hit me with it, Wes.
4-2. It's off with your heads, Montreal. You're going down. There's no way you make it out of this game. I know that they have been pretty decent as of late, which is kind of interesting, but there's no way they get past us on our homestand. We get a 3 days off. First game at home, packed barn. We're on a win streak. We just beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. They don't make it through us. Thatcher Demko starting the game. Let's go.
That's bold because Montreal has been rolling, and I was looking at this one. I was like, man, I wish we could have played this one like 2 months ago.
Literally.
Yeah. I guess we were both spiraling a little bit. But yeah, this one's tough. I think you said 4-2.
Yep.
I'm going with Wes. 4-2.
That's a solid score prediction.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Then we have the Washington Capitals in the house. Friday nights.
Yep.
Funny thing too, this 3-day break is our longest stretch between games till the end of the year now. So Canucks need to
now
take advantage of some rest.
Now it's just literally 2 days, 1 day, 2 days, 1 day.
Going to be hammering out a lot of games here.
Yep.
So Capitals in the house. I'm going to say
we're on a win streak.
4-3 Canucks.
Let's go. It's going to be a tight game. I think the same thing. I'll go with a little bit more of a low score, though. But that's tough because I feel like there'll be some goals scored in this game, especially at home. I'll go 3-2 Vancouver Canucks. It's going to be a good game, though.
So those are our 2 games this week that we'll cover next week on the podcast. And then after the next 2 weeks, that's when things get interesting again because we're kind of on a big swing where we play Eastern Conference teams.
Yep.
Then we get into the Western Conference, which is the games that we need to win. Like I'm just looking at our schedule here. We got a game against Calgary, Dallas, a couple against St. Louis.
Which, with the way that last Calgary game went, they're going to be out for blood.
Yeah. We
need to come ready to go for that game because we need to beat them. We need to give them another loss on their record and come out with the 2 points.
Yeah, and we're on a 7-game homestand here too, so that Calgary game will be very important because again, it's a team in front of us, and like we're not catching Calgary, but you're burning a game, and you get 2 points.
You don't let them get 2, and we take 2. It's big.
So when I'm looking at the schedule here, I see 3 monster games. Mm-hmm. There's one against Dallas, and they could be.
And I don't know how Dallas is even in the picture.
I know, and they have so many
games
in hand.
What?
Like a lot of games in hand.
But frickin' Pavelski, man.
Just keeps rolling.
He's just a frickin' natural-born leader, that guy.
And Robertson.
Yeah.
But yeah, and by the time these games roll around, the Canuck could be out of it. Who knows? But yeah, there's 2 against Dallas that are big, and then the last game of the year against Edmonton.
Yeah.
Which
big. We're going to it.
Yeah, we will be there, actually, yes.
Let's go.
That one could decide, whether or not
that puts all the marbles on the table.
Whether we're not we're in the
yeah, the P word.
Yeah. But yeah, so we went over our score predictions there. Let's do Canuck of the week. You said there was 3.
There's 3
I
in
said
my
there's
books.
1.
Yeah, and that's 100%. Since I have 3, I might as well go first just because there's more options there. This was a tough one for me
this
because,
was an easy one.
Like I said, there's 3 guys that definitely deserve it, but for me, it's Thatcher Demko. We wouldn't have won the 2 games that we won without Thatcher Demko, especially
3 games.
Yeah, but the Leafs game in particular,
even the Rangers game.
The Rangers game, we could have been blown out in these games, and Thatcher Demko, man, he's the one that is really giving us these wins.
When you told me there was 3 options, Wes, I was concerned you were going to pick the wrong option. And you know what? You picked the right option. Yeah. Thatcher fucking Demko.
Yep, he's amazing.
You go watch the last 5 minutes against the Leafs.
Yep.
Go watch the first period against the Rangers.
Yep.
That's all you need to see.
Yep.
Thatcher Demko.
Yeah, the Dem show.
He was rolling this week.
Yep.
And just shows no signs of slowing down. Maybe he had 1 or 2 off games in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, that one there where he got pulled, he was absolutely thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
We didn't back him up whatsoever. We've done it to Halak multiple times this season, so we're sorry, Halak, but Demko by far is the reason we're catching these dubs, and we're going to need him here in this last stretch of games if we want to go anywhere near the you-know-what.
Yeah. I will say, though, that I did slightly consider Pearson and JT Miller.
Me
Just
too.
want to give those guys a shout out because they were putting up points this week. Miller has been doing it for...
Those were my 3. Pearson, it was very quiet in the weeks leading up to now. The last week, he's just been lighting it up.
And it seemed like important goals. Yeah.
That tip against the Leafs, that was the turning point of the rest of the game. If he doesn't score that goal there, we might not win that game.
Yeah, and that was early and tied it up. That was a dagger for the Leafs. So
but
glad we're on the same page there.
Exactly, and had Thatcher Demko not been amazing in that last 5 minutes, we wouldn't have won that game either. So,
just in that game in general, too, he was good. Right?
And, of course, JT Miller leading the way every night. It seems like literally the past 9 games, he's driving the bus.
Yeah, it's almost like you can mark Miller down for a point every night.
Every night. 100%. What did he have? 2 last night? He's got multi-point games.
I think he had 1 against the Devils, and that's probably his lowest in the 9 games.
Yep, and Petey's got multi-point games. Petey's on a little roll here. There's lots of guys contributing. Travis Hamonic out of nowhere putting up a few points here and there.
Giving up a few points here and there.
Yeah, exactly. And Brock Besser, he would have been in the running had he not had those 2 terrible turnovers, and that's why I kind of thought that it was interesting they gave him Performer of the Game.
Loud mistakes for Bess. Could be a confidence thing too, right? Everybody likes Besser. So
yeah, but it's how do you not give Performer of the Game to Thatcher Demko?
Yeah, you know how the Canucks have the belt now?
The belt.
The championship belt that they hand out after every game.
Yeah.
Should just be in Demko's stall. They should just drill it to his stall.
110%.
Like you hand it out to Highmore and Lamico, and it's Thatcher's.
Yeah.
So we'll get to a couple tweets of the week here. This one's from Taj at Taj1944. Canuck strategy is basically give up grade A chances so Demko can demoralize the other team by robbing them over and over.
That's what he did to Vegas.
Yep.
In the bubble. Like
even when Vegas lost to Dallas, they said that Demko was in their heads. Like the coach said that. So.
Yep.
Here's another one. This is a little bit older from Harmondale. Still from this week, just before the Leafs game. At Harmondale 2. JT Miller has 14 goals and 41 points in his last 31 games, including 9 goals and 21 points in his last 14 games.
That's disgusting.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
And then my last one here is from Corey Hirsch, at Corey Hirsch, former Vancouver Canucks goaltender Corey Hirsch. I watched Thatcher Demko do this night after night after night. I'm glad all of Canada got to see it on Hockey Night in Canada. This isn't a one-off. He's this good. Incredible performance. This was after the Leafs game, and he is absolutely right.
Yep. Definitely the Canuck of the week. There's no doubt about it.
Yep. And then one last thing before we go here. I don't know if she messaged you, but our grandma Gail sent me a thing on Instagram here. It was a picture of our Uncle Neil and Grandpa Oscar Menard on the early 1960s Hudson Bay Seniors Hunters hockey team.
Yep.
So Chris, if you could put in the picture I'll send you here. Yeah. It's just pretty cool. Like,
it's awesome.
The 1960, like, that's pretty awesome.
No Buckies, no nothing.
Yeah,
like
just wanted to mention that. That was actually a really cool picture. So yeah, that'll do it for this week's episode. I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't think.
No, you got the tweets. We got the score predictions. I think we wrapped it up.
All right, another good week of Canucks hockey. They won the week. The classic Boudreaux phrase. We got a couple big games this week, so hopefully we win them.
I get bragging rights at work against those bum Leafs fans. Off with your heads, boys.
All right.
Another one in the bag.